Now, the death of OpenAI whistleblower Suchir Balaji has become a subject of a major controversy in the United States. Authorities have ruled it as a suicide, but Suchir's mother is demanding an FBI investigation. Why so, if you may ask? She claims foul play. Purnima Rao, his mother, claims that her son's apartment was ransacked and a struggle allegedly occurred before his death. Suchir Balaji has raised concerns over OpenAI's use of copyright data and had criticized the impact of AI on industries. Now, speaking exclusively to CNN News 18, Suchir's mother revealed how he had been vocal about his desire to make AI companies go bankrupt. She also claimed his computer was tampered with and vital files are still missing, adding that she was not allowed to see her son's body. Now, with Elon Musk backing the family's suspicions, they are determined to uncover the truth, demanding answers.
He is an investigative journalist. His name is George Webb. He is perhaps somebody who visited the apartment where dead body of Suchir Balaji was found on November 26. George Webb went to that apartment along with Suchir Balaji's parents. Perhaps he has an expertise over examining the crime scene and also doing investigation in criminal matters. And he was there at the apartment, the crime scene, and perhaps he has his own analysis and perhaps his own opinion on what has happened, what might have happened on 26 November.
I think the two parents, the mother and the father of Suchir, and myself all agree that it's a murder. The blood evidence shows that, I believe. And what I want to do is share that with experts, and then share it also with Elon Musk so that they can see the blood patterns that we see. But there's four key areas of blood. One is blood that sort of falls like raindrops around a sink, around a bathroom sink.
Okay.
There's a second group or pool of blood that's a long, about 3 inches wide, about a foot long. Then there's a third pool of blood, which is about twice that width and also about a foot long. And then there's about another very large pool of blood as the person, it looks like they're crawling out of the bathroom, spilling out into the living area of the 835-foot apartment. The gunshot forensics are between the eyes, over the right eyebrow, missing the brain. This is a person who misses his own brain, which is you don't do if you're trying to commit suicide. And then the bullet doesn't have an exit wound. It lodges in the back of the vertebra between the C1 process and the C2, or dens, they call it, the top of the vertebrae. So there's no suicide note. He had talked to the parents, to the father, after having a meal at 6:35 after he got back from a hiking trip. You can see his camping gear that he put on the floor. And he's dead by next morning. He had a meeting coming up with the New York Times. He had a meeting come up with another set of lawyers for another lawsuit. He had been just named 4 days earlier in the New York Times lawsuit. He had just done an expose for the New York Times on how the copyright issues with OpenAI on the 26th. So there's a lot of timing here that's very odd. And then a lot of the people on his hiking trip in Los Angeles, the four other men that he knew since high school, all said he was in great spirits. So that doesn't make any sense. And so it looks to me very much like a murder, and somebody who was, what the second autopsy said was, he was forced to sit after bleeding with these raindrops. It looks like he was hit. He had 2 earbuds in his ear. One of the earbuds was under the sink. The other one was all the way out by the blood. Again, it looked like he was listening to music or something. And he had one of those flossing devices for cleaning your teeth. That was knocked out of his mouth. That's not something you do right before you shoot yourself. And his fingernail clippers were out, so he was clipping his fingers. The house was ransacked. Then later, it looked like somebody had gone through their whole house and leave open all these doors and so forth. There's no need to do that. If you're
Okay.
going to commit suicide, there's no need to ransack your own house. So that it looked like someone was looking for a thumb drive. The parents said the thumb drive was missing. They have the laptop. They have his laptop, and they have his phone, and it's currently right now in a safe deposit box because it's involved in 4 different lawsuits.
What kind of tool has been used to hit him? Whether it's some sharp object, or have you been able to establish that in your investigation?
Well, there was a bag,
Okay.
and you can clearly see a red bag in. It looks like it has a hole in it so that it fired the gun, and maybe that's why the lack of powder burns. But the bag looked like it was maybe used to hit him with a blunt force with a pistol whip. It looked like maybe there was a second every time the blood pools change. It looks like maybe that's another pistol whipping. There could have been up to 3 pistol whippings. And then the black bag is left after the 3rd pistol whipping, right by the corner of the door jamb.
Okay. So he was hit from behind.
That's my understand. Well, that's what I see. Raindrop blood samples. There's a little bit of blood up on the sink where he was looked like he was listening to music and at the same time, flossing his teeth. There's a garbage can that's knocked over in that direction, so it looks like he's hit from behind, and then he falls to his left and he knocks over a small 1-foot tall stainless steel garbage can, and the flossing thing comes out. So there's just a little bit of blood there. But then it looks like he's forced to sit, and then he's killed in the sitting position. And that's what the doctor's opinion was. And then it looks like he's trying to crawl out to help. We did find one spot that's about 8 feet further, which is just one blood stain near his backpack. And we're trying to get forensics to look at that as well.
So do you think that that blood stain is not of Suchir Balaji? It is of somebody else?
It might be. We don't know. But I wanted to alert the parents' attention to it because I think it's so far away from the other blood pools that it might be the person trying to get away. I think that whoever subdued him and killed him then did a search of the apartment. You could see they opened up every drawer. They pull out they go through his backpacks. They go through anything that could hold anything. They went through all of the drawers in the bathroom. They kind of pull out everything out of his closet as well. So it looks like somebody was looking for the pen drive or the thumb drive, and the pen drive and thumb drive is no longer there. Well, I can only speculate, but I believe the data was the training data, the pre-training data that was involved in training ChatGPT-4 and potentially Chat-01. And that data would include 80,000 or it could have included many more than 80,000 New York Times articles. It could be up to 100, million different articles. These new pen drives and thumb drives can hold an incredible amount. They used to only hold 64K and then 128 megabytes. Now they can get all the way up to several gigabytes. So we don't know what is on that pen drive. The mother believed it was training data. That also is what the New York Times was looking for to prove their case that the ChatGPT was used.
And how many people entered his house as per your examination? Whether it is a work of a single person or they were in group?
No, I definitely think it's only one person. We looked for the camera. There's no camera at this side entrance. You could come up the stairs all the way to Balaji's apartment, 4 floors of stairs from the 188 entrance, the street entrance, all the way to his apartment with no cameras. That's odd. People were coming and going because they were going out for a smoke out of their apartment complex, also taking their dogs out.
There were no cameras from the day one, or Was there any change in the camera positions before 26th November? Have you found anything related to that?
I don't know. We have to check old photographs to see if there were cameras before, but the cameras had been removed. There is a camera out in the garage, and you can also enter the garage by people who are leaving or coming in with their car. You can tailgate them and come into the house that way. But we didn't see any cameras, but we checked cameras on the other side of the street. So we'll know if the cameras have been removed. We went to the people who have Ring cameras on the other side of the street. So the other angle we're looking at is geofence data. Geofence data allows you to say, I want just the IP addresses that are in this residential area of 188 Buchanan, and then see if there's any new IP addresses or whatnot. It's a much more laborious process, but we're also doing that as well.
So how?
But I think it's only one person. It could be
Yeah, carry on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I only wanted to know.
Well, I think it could be a delivery person. I think it could be someone who was a smoker who went in with another smoker. It could be somebody who had came in when the person came in with their dog. It could be a lot of different people coming and going. We saw people coming and going when we were there all day. Every 2 or 3 minutes, people coming and going.
All right, let's quickly go across to Siddhant, who had that conversation as well. Siddhant, important to highlight, as a whistleblower, what were the concerns that were being raised by Suchir Balaji in terms of all those ethical concerns that are surrounding generative AI?
Well, he became whistleblower after leaving OpenAI, and in fact, he did give one interview to New York Times. And this particular case, which he was speaking about, was the case of copyright infringement. And in fact, New York Times did file a suit against OpenAI, in which Suchir Balaji was one of the witness. And in fact, many say this, that if he had testified, it would have been a big blow to US tech industry. So this particular angle also needs to be probed. Now, we did manage to speak to investigative journalists who accompanied Suchir Balaji's parents to visit his apartment after his death. In fact, he examined the crime scene, and he has to say that he was hit by a solid substance from the back, after which he fell on the floor, and he in fact crawled to call somebody for a moment, and after which he died. So that is how he...
Right. Siddhant, quickly before I head into a break, I wanted to ask you, despite these glaring sort of discrepancies between what the police is saying and what the second autopsy and what the private detector hired by Purnima Rao is concerned, despite these glaring, blatant discrepancies, what are law enforcement agents in the United States maintaining about this case?
Well, law enforcement agencies have to say that it's a case of suicide.
All right, many thanks to you, Siddhant, for bringing us all those inputs. And with that, we slip into a quick break. We'll be back with the latest news and updates. Stay tuned to CNN News.